While replastering the front dining room, a former owner was handed his trowel. When he turned to see who had helped him, since he believed he was alone in the building, he saw a man in Civil War cavalry fatigues. The apparition melted before his eyes. He saw the soldier several more times throughout the renovation. He always said the man was just trying to help him. There was a playful sprite who would regularly extinguish the pilot lights on the kitchen grill, shutting down Friday night fish fries until they could be relit. A group of psychics thought that her name might be Sadie. One night, in frustration, the cook yelled,
"God damn it, Sadie! Get back downstairs where you belong and let me work."
She was never troubled again. However, after that, things missing from the bar were usually found in the basement. It seems Sadie was just having some fun.
My first major experience was when I was 16. On a Saturday morning, around 7 o'clock, I was cleaning the front dining room with my back to the door. I turned to move to the other dining room when I saw a man in a long, old-fashioned coat and hat sitting at the bar. Since I was alone, the doors were locked and it was early in the day. I became frightened that someone had somehow entered the building. My first reaction was to grab a fork off the table I had just finished setting, and when I turned to confront the man, he was gone. Shaken, I called my dad, who came immediately and checked the building top to bottom several times and found no one. The doors were indeed all locked, but this was the first time I realized that I was never alone in Chance's restaurant.
On an evening after a major charity event, the staff began to clean up around 10 o'clock. The large tables that had been used in the back dining room to display silent auction and raffle items had been taken back up to the storage area in the old ballroom. The staff left the ballroom but had forgotten to close the upstairs door, and as one of them went to close it, someone or something pushed him down the stairs.
A bartender was working late shift on a recent Monday night when she heard a loud crash in the kitchen. When she went to investigate, she found everything in its proper place with no damage. All was quiet. Then a voice quite softly said,
"I am in here."
Louder, the voice repeated,
"I am in here."
She heard the voice a few more times while searching the kitchen, but found no one there.
One of the bus staff had been instructed to go into the upstairs storage area to retrieve a box. About 3 minutes later, he came down white as new snow. He told us that when he had gone to get the box, he saw a box of paper napkins move from one side of the room to the other. When I went up to check out his story, I found not only the napkins moved from their usual storage area, but a box of glassware as well. The busser would never return to that upstairs storage area.
Dad would turn off the front spotlights every night at closing. One night, as leaving the upstairs apartment area, he looked in a mirror as he passed, and instead of his belt, as he usually saw, a man's face appeared, looking up at him and scowling. Recently, a group of paranormal researchers was at Chance's doing EVPs. There are two very clear EVPs. In the back dining room, they asked if the person there was a male. A very distinct voice said no. In the upstairs apartment, several questions were asked with no response for about 2 minutes. However, on the playback, a man's voice is clearly heard saying,
"Get out!"
A sighting common to many customers is a woman walking from the back dining room through the kitchen door late at night, and no one is ever there. She has been seen by up to 5 people at one time. Previous owners have had similar experiences. Perhaps the most well-known story is the lady in the green dress. In his own words, a former bartender tells the tale.
2 friends of mine, second shifters, were living in the upstairs apartment. After closing up the bar, I'd go up there and watch the newly installed cable TV. As I reached the top of the stairs one night, I saw what appeared to be a woman in a rather diaphanous green gown that went all the way to the floor. I went into the apartment and asked which one of the guys had brought a girl home and didn't let her in the apartment. They looked at me like I was nuts. But the one said, "Oh, I've been hearing somebody walk around there for months. It must just be one of the spooks." Now it was my turn to look at him like he was nuts. Several weeks later, I was going up again to watch the adult channel on cable when, sure as apples, there she was again. I rushed into the apartment and told the guys to get out here quick. When we returned, there was nothing there. Months passed without another sighting, and then it happened. Third time must have been the charm, and there she was again. I wanted to settle this once and for all, so I stood my ground asking who she was and what she wanted. I got no response. As she walked towards me, I stepped further into the ballroom to confront her. As she came closer, I could not see any facial features, just the green dress. Frozen, I stood there as she walked right through me. The odor can only be described like a freezer that had quit working a few months before and was only now discovered. An icy chill filled my whole body, and though I hate to admit it, I messed myself. The feeling of such absolute sorrow was overwhelming. I never watched late-night cable up there again. Many other stories of faces in mirrors, missing items, cold spots, orb photos, and unexplained video footage have popped up over the years, including a black dog that would run through the dining room on some Saturday nights.
Perhaps tonight will be your turn to experience a presence. Oh, and by the way, please don't feed the dog.